Imagine stepping into a room where the air feels charged with color, where every word has a heartbeat, and every idea wears a scarf of possibility. Welcome to a story about Romanticism. Not as a dusty museum of dates, but as a living, breathing romance between imagination and the world. This is a tour through an era that learned to fall in love with mystery, with feeling, with the wild tenderness of being human. Romanticism didn't begin with a date on a calendar, it began in a longing. A longing to break free from neat rules and tidy conclusions. To listen to the whisper of the wind and the clamor of the sea. To believe that truth could be felt as much as it could be proven. If you've ever stood on a hill at dusk and felt your heart answer the horizon with a quiet yes, you've met romance on a map, the map of ideas. And the journey is, at its core, a journey toward love, love of nature, love of self, and love of the way a single image can rearrange the way you see everything. SFX, pages_turn, 1. The story begins in a time when science pressed its face to the window, asking for order and control. And artists pressed back with a smile and a shout. What if beauty lives in contradiction? What if emotion can guide our compass more truly than reason alone? The early romantics listened for the hidden music of the world, the sigh of a glacier, the laughter of a child, the ache in a wounded city. They didn't reject logic. They reimagined it as something alive. Something that could be felt in the bones as much as it could be calculated in the mind. Let us meet the core idea with a simple frame. The history of ideas as a love story between a person and a moment. The moment arrives when a poet meets a pine forest and finds in its green a map of the human spirit. The poet does not simply describe nature, they attend to its presence, allowing it to reshape fear into wonder, and doubt into a question that invites time to answer. In that meeting, ideas become feelings you could kiss or argue with, each side teaching the other how to grow beyond the limits of the day. SFX, soft_chime, 2. At the heart of Romanticism lies the cult of the individual. Not the selfie kind of individual, but the inner storm and the inner glow, the person who refuses to be boxed by convention. Who refuses to pretend the heart doesn't ache or the imagination isn't a force of creation. This emphasis on the self doesn't turn people selfish. It invites them to tend the garden inside, to become better listeners, more merciful companions, more hopeful lovers of life. It's a philosophy dressed in velvet. A philosophy that writes itself on the skin whenever we choose to feel deeply and not apologize for the tremor. When we trace the movement's map across Europe, you'll hear footsteps in 1,000 rooms, the crowded atelier, the fireside library, the theater where a storm of passion rages in the dialogue of lovers and rebels alike. You'll see painters who painted the sublime not as an escape from pain but as a doorway through which pain becomes something that can be held, catalogued, and ultimately healed by beauty. You'll hear composers bending time with a melody that makes sorrow swing into tenderness. You'll hear writers who treat memory as a living companion and who insist that history is not a pile of dust but a living thing you can hold in your hands and trust to shape your next breath. SFX, heartbeat, 2. The themes that carry this history are like threads in a scarf: nature as sanctuary, imagination as a portal, intuition as a ruler, and love as a compass. Nature isn't a backdrop, it's a living tutor who teaches humility and awe. Imagination isn't a flight from reality. It's a way to arrive at truth through symbols, dreams, and reverie. Intuition isn't a casual hunch. It's a trusted partner in discovering values that logic alone never touches. And love? Love becomes both the motive and the method, how characters and citizens learn to care with intensity, to hold on to what matters when conflicts rise, and to believe that heartfelt connection can travel through time. If you're wondering how this translates into our everyday lives, consider this. Romanticism invites us to persevere when the world seems gray. It urges us to keep writing letters to our own better selves, even after a heartbreak or a setback. It asks us to look at people not as puzzles to be solved but as harmonious beings with flaws that make their brilliance possible. It teaches that a relationship, like a great idea, doesn't arrive fully formed. It grows through conversations that sting and soften. Through shared silences that feel like music. Through acts of courage that choose love over certainty. SFX, soft_rain, 2 in the romance of ideas. The history of Romanticism is a map you can hold up to the light in your own life. The longing for the mysterious becomes the motive to explore your own depths. The belief that truth can reside in feeling becomes the courage to speak your truth, gently, honestly, tenderly. The sense that the world is larger than a single solution becomes the perseverance to build, not just to dream. And the idea that love endures if tended with care offers a promise of a future you can walk toward, with someone who understands that a relationship is not just a spark but a practice. To understand Romanticism as a practice is to recognize how it reshaped not only literature and painting but how people lived and loved. It taught that humanness is messy and magnificent at once. That compassion is a form of courage, and that longing, when guided by kindness, can become a bridge rather than a wound. If we listen closely, we'll hear the echoes of those century-old debates in our own rooms. Does art require rebellion or reconciliation? Can we know the world through feeling without surrendering to illusion? How does one love with both passion and responsibility? The answers aren't fixed. They're evolving conversations like the best kind of romance, they deepen when shared. SFX, gentle_bell, 2 So here's a practical thread you can carry forward. Read a poem or passage that makes your heartbeat quicken. Then sit with it for a moment and ask what feeling it awakens in you that you didn't name before. Then try to translate that feeling into a small act. Write a note to someone you care about, sketch a fragment of a scene. Or step outside and let nature reacquaint you with wonder. Romanticism isn't a relic. It's a method for living with more sensitivity, more courage, and more hope. It's the idea that even in ordinary days, there is a possibility of something extraordinary, the possibility that love can grow in the soil of perseverance and that a heartbreak can become a doorway to a kinder future. Now, pick up the thread you've just felt in your own life. The history of ideas isn't distant museums and dusty archives only. It's a living thread you can pull. A romance you can participate in. If you're a student, let Romanticism remind you to study with your senses open. To notice how a landscape changes when you look at it with care. If you're in a relationship, let it be a reminder to nurture the bond with acts that matter, conversations that listen, and moments that become memories. If you're healing from disappointment, let the idea that beauty comes from perseverance be your soft, stubborn truth. SFX, soft_wind_chimes, 3 And if you're unsure where to start, here's a gentle map. Begin with the feeling what in a scene, a line of poetry, a painting, or a melody stirs your heart. Then ask what truth it is trying to tell you about yourself, about your partner, about the world. Follow that truth into action, even a small one. And let the action become the seed of a longer story. Romanticism teaches that the story isn't finished the moment you say I love you. It continues every day in patient, deliberate care, the choosing, the growing, the listening, the forgiving. A quiet note of encouragement. The history of ideas is not a stern lecture about abstract truths. It's a romance about resilience. About finding warmth in the cold, about believing that love, in any form, is worth arguing for, worth waiting for, and worth reconciling with the world as it is today. If you take one idea away, let it be this: love is a creative force. When you tend it with curiosity, honesty, and persistence, it becomes a force that can reshape not only your heart but the world around you. So move forward, carrying this living map of Romanticism inside you. Let wonder lead your days and tenderness color your nights. And if a day comes when the world seems heavy, remember the lovers and dreamers who held fast to a belief that beauty, truth, and kindness can coexist. That belief is not a relic, it's a promise that even a remarkable love story can unfold your own. End of narration.